gone by 8, my mother said, and the drizzle made the trash bag in my arms sag like it knew something I didn't. My name is Tory Lane. I'm 21, 6 months pregnant, and standing on the front steps with a plastic bag that holds 2 sweaters, a pair of flats, and the baby's ultrasound photo in the outside pocket where I can see it. Inside, the kitchen clock ticks like a metronome that always ran a little fast. $600 vanished from the rent envelope on top of the fridge, and my sister Michaela swore she watched me take it. I didn't, I said, because there wasn't much else to say. Mum, Mary to everybody else, Mum to me, stood with her arms folded and a towel over one shoulder from drying plates. Michaela saw you, she said, like that settled it. I won't have a thief in this house. Michaela, 2 years younger and good at looking certain, leaned in the doorway of the hall like she might float away if she stopped touching the frame. You grabbed it, she said, almost bored. You were in the kitchen. Don't make this worse. My dad, Dale, hovered in the kitchen doorway with his keys in his palm, thumb circling the worn rubber fob. He'd just come off a late shift at the bus yard. He looked at the floor like there was a map there that could get him out of this room. It's not true, I said again. My voice sounded like someone had turned the volume down. Mum checked the clock. 8, she repeated. I'm not debating. The envelope had lived on top of the fridge since forever, out of reach of the junk drawer, stuffed every week with cash from tips and extra shifts. Rent got paid the first of the month. We all knew the rhythm. I hadn't touched it. I had my own envelope, my own rhythm. I could feel the baby roll under my hand like he didn't like the tone in the room. I took the trash bag because it was what she handed me. I slid in the 2 sweaters that still fit, the flats I wore when my ankles swelled, and the ultrasound printout from last week where his profile looked like a tiny moon. I left the rest, picture frames, prom shoes, a shoebox of old bracelets, because you learn quickly to carry what you can carry. I didn't steal your rent, I said to Mum one last time. She stared at me like I was something on the bottom of a shoe. I'm not doing this, Tory. Dad shifted like he might say something. The keys rattled once. He didn't. I walked out through the drizzle. The porch light buzzed with bugs. By the time I hit the sidewalk, my hair was sticking to my neck. I got in my car, 98 Civic with a temperamental wiper, and texted Phoebe. She was my best friend from high school, the kind of person who kept extra blankets by the couch just in case. Her reply came fast. Doors open. Key under the blue pot. I got you. Her towel smelled like lavender shampoo, and the couch was lumpy in a way that let me sink without falling. I lay there with my hand on my stomach and listened to the radiator hiss. I thought about the envelope on top of the fridge. I thought about the clock that ticked too loud before big tests. I thought about how quickly a story can catch fire when someone pretty and certain lights the match. Weeks went by. I found a day shift at a diner and a night shift stocking shelves, and I learned to smile without answering follow-up questions. People love to ask about dads when they see a belly. I said as little as possible. And then, 2 weeks before Thanksgiving, my phone buzzed with a voicemail at 11:42 p.m. Michaela's voice, hushed and breathy like she was hiding in the bathroom. I took the rent cash, she said. A little laugh, like it wasn't a big deal. Don't ruin Thanksgiving. No one's going to believe you anyway. In the background, the clock was ticking. Our clock. It clicked into me. I saved the message. I saved it again. I emailed it to myself from a library computer the next day and made a subject line so plain no one would ever click it by accident. I wrote down the timestamp on an index card and stuck it in my wallet. That winter, I stopped explaining. I worked, I slept, I bought a crib second-hand and wiped it down until my shoulders ached. When people tried to pull me into the story, I let the rope go. I learned to hold my name in my own mouth. 10 years later, my son Aidan is 9 and reads in the car to keep from asking questions I'm not ready to answer. I'm in my early 30s now, steadier. answering phones at a neighbourhood dental clinic, and timing dinner around homework. The mail on my doormat is bills and circulars, except tonight there's a heavy envelope with my name spelled right in raised letters. Inside, an invitation to a retirement dinner at the community hall for Dale Lane, 35 years of safe driving. A yellow sticky note in my dad's smaller handwriting is stuck to the programme. It would mean a lot if you came. The invite sits on the counter next to the cereal box like it belongs there. Aidan crunches and spells out words between bites, reading them off the blue list his teacher sent home. I make sure his lunch is zipped and his hoodie is in his backpack, then slide the heavy card back into its envelope so milk doesn't splatter the raised letters. "Are we going somewhere fancy?" Aidan asks without looking up. "Maybe," I say. "We'll see how schedules look." He nods like that's a full answer. He's careful with me that way. Watches first, decides later. I'm grateful and a little sad about it at the same time. By 8:05, the clinic phones are already vibrating the desk. I put on the headset and start in on insurance questions and reschedules. Amber taps the glass with 2 knuckles and pushes a travel cup toward me with her elbow. "You look like you slept 3 hours," she says. "What's up?" "Just family mail," I say. "My dad's retirement dinner. Saturday, 6 at the community hall." Amber does the math. "You're here till 5:30 Saturdays." "Yeah." I click into the next call, put someone on hold and mute. "Could you cover my last hour? I'll pay you back. Switch Tuesday mornings for Thursday nights, whatever you need." Amber bites her lip, thinking through her kids' soccer and her own commute. "I can stay till 5 if you can get someone to float from the back for that last half." "I'll ask Dr. Patel to let Maria sit up here," I say. "I owe you." "You owe me nothing." "Just don't let them rope you into dish duty." She leans in. "You want to go?" I look at the stacked appointment cards waiting for stamps. "I don't know," I say, which is true in the exact way it sounds. I want the right thing more than I want the easy thing. Those two rarely show up together. Mid-morning, my phone lights with Dad's name. I stare at it until the voicemail prompt kicks in and then hit callback on my 15-minute break, sitting in my car where the heater takes its time. "Hey," he says, and his voice is softer than it was in the kitchen that night. Less edges. "Got my message?" "I got the invitation." "I'd like to see you there," he says, "if you can." I watch a couple walk past with matching scarves. "I'll let you know." "I don't want it to be awkward," he tries. "It already is," I say, not unkind. He exhales, a little static through the speaker. "Okay, well, either way, I'm proud of you," he says, and it lands somewhere strange. Proud of what, exactly? I swallow it. "Thanks," I say. "I've got to get back in." At lunch, I don't go inside. I cue up the old voicemail and let Michaela's hushed voice spill into the cold car air. "I took the rent cash. Don't ruin Thanksgiving. No one's going to believe you anyway." In the background, the clock ticks our house into the recording, proof stamped in sound. My heart thumps in weird sync with it. 10 years, and it still flips my stomach. After my shift, I swing by Phoebe's with a bag of tangerines because she always forgets to buy fruit. She opens the door in socks, music low in the kitchen. "You got your fancy mail?" she asks, like she's been waiting under her breath all day. "Saturday night," I say, and hold up the envelope. She pats the couch. I sit. "You going?" "I don't want to go just to eat rubber chicken and pretend," I say. "I don't want to go to start anything either. I can't do round 2 of people telling me to be nice." Phoebe pours tea into chipped mugs. "Then don't do either," she says. "If you go, go on your terms." "My terms," I repeat, tasting the words. I could speak once and only once. No arguments, no being pulled into the hallway for a scene, in and out like a clean stitch. Phoebe watches me think. "You've already lived through the worst of it," she says. "They showed you who they are then. You get to decide who you are now." Aidan is at the coffee table, flipping through his library book, legs folded under him, humming to himself. He looks up. "Is the chicken really rubber?" In theory, I tell him, and he grins. That night, after dishes, I pull the invite back out. Community Hall, Saturday 6 p.m. I look at my calendar. I text Amber, "Doctor said Maria can cover the desk last 30. She replies with a thumbs up and a "You've got this" sticker that I save without thinking. I could go and say my name into the mic and say one thing that snaps a decade back into shape, or I could stay home, make spaghetti, and keep the quiet I built. I call Dad again when Aidan's in the tub and keep it short. If I come, I say, I'm not staying long. I just want a nice night, he says, and it hits me like a small burr under the sock, harmless until it isn't. I won't make a scene, I say, but I'm not pretending either. He hesitates. Okay. After I hang up, I sit on the edge of the bed and write one sentence in my notes app. I speak once, clean and short, and I leave. I read it out loud. It settles like a weight in the centre of me. I'm not afraid of the room. I'm afraid of walking out of it without having said what I needed to say, so I decide I'll go if I can speak once and only once, no debates, no detours, then I'll take my coat and go home. I start a list on the back of a crumpled grocery receipt at the kitchen counter after Aidan goes to bed. The paper is soft from a leaky tangerine. I write 3 lines and number them. 1. My name cleared. 2. Written apologies. 3. No more stories about me. I press the pen hard enough to dent the wood underneath. Then I fold the receipt and slide it into the front pocket of my bag where I keep stamps and a spare hair tie. At lunch the next day, I drive to the post office with a protein bar in my mouth and stand in a line that smells like cardboard and rain. When it's my turn, I ask for a money order for $600. The clerk asks how I want to pay. I use my debit card. The little printer chatters and spits out a strip that feels heavier than it should. You want a stamp for the receipt? The clerk asks. I nod. She thumps it with a purple date stamp. I tuck both into an envelope I brought from home. It's not about paying anyone back. It's about taking the number that detonated my life and making it sit still. On my way back, I swing by the library 2 blocks from the clinic. The computers are almost all taken by teenagers doing homework and one guy scrolling auction listings. I log in, open my email, and search for my boring subject line from 10 years ago. There it is, a little digital time capsule, me forwarding a voicemail to myself the day after I got it. The date and time sit there in plain font like any other piece of mail. I plug in headphones, hit play, and listen to Michaela's whisper through the tiny library hiss. I pause and type, hitting the punctuation just like she says it. I took the rent cash, don't ruin Thanksgiving, no one's going to believe you anyway. And then I add the bracketed description, clock ticking. I print the transcript. I print the original email with the sent date and time. 10 cents a page goes on my library account. Stapler? I ask the woman at the desk. On the left, she says without looking up. I staple the time-stamped email to the back of the transcript and slip both into the envelope with the money order. The weight of it feels right in my hand. Back at the clinic, Amber raises her eyebrows when she sees me tuck the envelope into my bag. Delivery? She teases. Something like that, I say. My phone pings while I'm confirming a Crown prep for next week. It's a group text labelled family. I'm still in there because no one ever removed me after they added a bunch of cousins for a reunion 5 years ago. The message is from Mum. We saved you a seat with family at Dad's table. If you can promise not to bring up old stuff tonight, let's just celebrate him. I'm not going to answer that on the headset with a patient on hold. I mute the line and feel my face heat anyway. I breathe until it cools. When the rush dies, I type a reply to Dad instead of to the group. I'll come. I won't stay long. A minute later, 3 dots bubble and pause. Then, I just want a nice night. There it is again, that sentence like a pebble in my shoe. I answer, I'm not making a scene. I'm making a statement. He doesn't respond. Fine. The terms are for me as much as anyone else. At home, I do safety checks. I move the audio file into a locked notes folder and name it something no one would open on purpose. Tax Docs 2013. I turn off Bluetooth autoplay and set my phone to vibrate. I don't want Aidan tapping YouTube and waking a ghost by accident. Phoebe stops by with a loaf of bread she swears is fail-proof and a look that asks for news. I show her the envelope. "Clean," she says, approving. "You remind me of my aunt when she took her last name back at the DMV, brought a folder. Wore lipstick like armour." I laugh. I'm not wearing lipstick. "You're wearing boundaries," she says. "Same thing." Before bed, I pull the grocery receipt back out and read my 3 lines. My handwriting looks like it did in high school, trying to appease a teacher. I tuck it behind the envelope, then tuck both into my bag. I check the locks. I set my alarm. I go to Aidan's room and watch him sleep for an extra minute with his book flopped open over his chest. In the morning, there's a text from Mum again, this time to me alone. "We're happy to have you at our table if you can agree to keep things positive. No need for dramatics. There's no question mark anywhere in it." I don't respond. I pack Aidan's lunch, comb his hair, walk him to school. At my desk, I call Dad on my break and keep it simple. "I'm coming," I say. "I'll speak once and then I'm gone." He sighs into the speaker. I want it to be a good memory. "It will be for me," I say, and I can hear him swallow. After work, I stop at the grocery store for frozen peas and breadcrumbs because Aidan wants meatballs this week. I'm pushing my cart fast, thinking about whether I have enough eggs, when I turn into the freezer aisle and almost slam into another cart. We both brake hard. A box of waffles slides forward, hits the metal, and thunks. I look up. Michaela is right there, hand on the handle, smile already forming like we're fine. Michaela's smile lands first, like a polite knock on a door she already opened. "Let's not make this a thing," she says, light voice, palm flat on her cart handle. The freezer case hums behind her. A box of waffles leans crooked in her basket, next to a bag of frozen berries and a jar of pasta sauce. I steady my cart. "Hi," I say, because manners get me in and out of rooms. She tucks hair behind her ear. "Dad's got enough on his plate with the party. His blood pressure's been up. Mum's been through enough." She throws that in like a coupon I should accept. "You're really still on about that money?" A 10-pound bag of peas sweats under my hand. I feel the cold through the plastic. "I'm coming to honour Dad," I say, "and to clear my name." Her eyes flick to my bag, back to my face. Tory. "I'm not doing this in aisle 8, I say. Not with frozen food melting." She leans closer, voice dropping like we're co-conspirators. "You know how Mom gets. She'll spiral. It'll ruin the night." "Then she can go home," I say, and keep my tone even. "I'm not staying long." She laughs without smiling. "You always have to make it dramatic." "You know what the drama was," I say. I don't add the rest. The bag, the drizzle, the couch that smelled like lavender. She knows the outlines. She drew them. She looks past me down the aisle, spots someone she knows, waves, then back. "Dad's done a lot for the city. He deserves a nice night. You don't have to perform." "I'm not performing," I say. "I'm putting something down so it stops being carried." She presses her lips together. "You're going to make Mom cry." "That's not my goal," I say, "but I'm not responsible for how people react to the truth." She shifts her weight, rolls her cart forward an inch like she's done. "Okay. Just don't blindside people. Give a heads up." "I already did," I say. "I told Dad I'd make a statement and leave." She shakes her head, small, rehearsed. "You always were stubborn." I reach for the waffles I came for so I can end this with something normal. "I'll see you Saturday," I say. She gives me that same fixed smile. "See you." I roll away. My hands buzz a little on the cart handle. I pick up breadcrumbs, a jar of pickles Aidan likes, a block of cheese. The normal weight of regular things pulls me back into my body. At the register, the teen with the chipped black nails asks if I found everything. Yep, I say, and slide my card. My phone vibrates in my pocket. I don't look at it until I'm in the car with the bags on the back seat and the cabin light on. Before I check the text, I open the audio file. The title reads Tax Docs 2013 and makes me want to laugh at myself a little. I hit play and Michaela fills the quiet with her whisper. I took the rent cash. Don't ruin Thanksgiving. No one's going to believe you anyway. Underneath it, a noise I know better than my own heartbeat, the loud tick of the kitchen clock that used to keep me up before exams. Back then I would try to breathe between the clicks, make myself small enough to sleep. In the recording it's clear, steady, same pattern, same pitch. The timestamp I printed today matches the day Mum said the rent vanished. Down to the hour she flipped the porch light on and told me to be gone. It drops into me, heavy and sure. Mum didn't have to know the truth to choose Michaela. She just had to prefer her story. I sit with that for a minute, hands on the steering wheel, until the feeling passes through and leaves something like resolve behind. The envelope in my bag feels like a brick I decided to carry and set down in front of witnesses. I finally check my phone. A photo from Dad, the lighting a little yellow like he took it quick on his flip phone. The community hall in all its small-town finery, folding tables in rows, plastic tablecloths clipped at the corners, a banner with "Congratulations, Dale," hung a little crooked, a stack of paper programs sits on a chair. Someone set small jars of supermarket flowers down the middle, carnations and baby's breath. "Can we talk before you go in?" he wrote under the picture. I look at the dashboard clock, 7:13. Saturday is tomorrow. I type back, "I'm home after 5, if you want to swing by, 3 dots, then I'll stop by, got a couple extra tickets for you." I picture him in the hall, hands in his jacket pockets, someone calling him over to decide where to put the coffee urns. He wants a nice night. I want to keep my name. I put my phone face down on the passenger seat and start the car. The defroster sighs. Through the windshield, the grocery store lights buzz against the early dark. I reach back, pat the bag with the peas to make sure they're not leaking, and pull out onto the road. Dad shows up at 5:22 with a paper bag and 2 glossy tickets pinched in his fingers. I hear his knock, 2 short, 1 long, and buzz him in because that's still muscle memory. The hallway smells like someone's making rice. I meet him on the stoop because it's easier to breathe there. "Hey," he says, a little out of breath from the stairs. He lifts the bag. "Muffins. Somebody at the depot was handing them out. Blueberry, I think. Maybe bran." "Thanks," I say. The bag is warm against my palm. We stand side by side like neighbours waiting for a ride share, watching a leaf scrape down the sidewalk. The air has that cold edge that means the streetlights will click on early. He holds out the tickets. "Figured you might want extras, if..." He stops himself. "They've got your name at the door too." I take them and slide them into my back pocket. The cardstock is slick. "How's it looking over there?" He smiles at the street. "Oh, you know, tablecloths never fit right. Somebody brought deviled eggs in a cat-shaped platter." He chuckles, then clears his throat. "Route 14 guys were arguing about whether to put the coffee urns near the stage. I told them to ask the women because they'll put them somewhere that makes sense." "Smart," I say. "Got a nice banner, bit crooked. I kind of like it that way." He rubs his hands together and breathes into them. Cold's coming in fast. "Aiden had to switch to his thicker hoodie," I say, because it's safe. He's shooting up. Pants don't last a season. "How tall is he now?" he asks, quick, and then looks sorry he asked. "Taller than my hip," I say. He reads in the car so he won't ask a million questions. He nods. We run out of small talk at the same time and both look at the steps. "I didn't know what to do back then," he says finally, words careful. I keep my eyes on the crack in the 3rd stair where grass always tries. "You did nothing," I say, plain. It lands between us and just sits there. He flinches like it made a sound. He stops. It was a lot of shouting. Your mother was... He waves it off. I wasn't good at that kind of thing. I noticed, I say. We stand with our breath showing. Somewhere down the block, a bus sighs at a stop. He glances over like a farmer listening to rain. I want tonight to be nice, he says. I know you said you're speaking. I just don't embarrass your mother. He looks at me like he's bracing for a gust. I'm not planning to embarrass anyone, I say. I'm planning to claim my name and leave. He works his jaw. People talk. They will anyway, I say. At least this time they'll have the right story. He sits on the top step. I stay standing. He passes me the muffin bag again like he needs to do something with his hands. Your mother, she hangs on to things, he says. She'll make a scene if she feels cornered. I'm not cornering anyone, I say. I'm putting down facts, clean and short. He nods like he wants to believe me and doesn't know how. We listen to a kid somewhere 2 buildings over practice trumpet badly. If I do this, I say, there's a boundary that comes with it. I look at him so he knows I mean him, not the abstract idea of family. If you want to meet Aidan, I need your apology in writing, not a call, not a you know how I felt. Paper, something I can hold when people try to rewrite this again. He blinks. For a second he looks like I handed him something he expected to be light. In writing, he repeats. In writing, I say. No excuses, no buts. You own what you didn't do. You say my name. You don't put it on Michaela or Mom. You don't make Aidan part of it. He rubs his thumb over a hangnail. Okay, he says slowly, as if the word might tip. I can do that. I mean, I can try. It's not a college essay, I say. It's an apology. He nods again. Right, right. We lapse back into small talk like we need a palate cleanser. He tells me rote 3's brakes squeal because somebody put the wrong pads on and the maintenance guys are swearing about it. I tell him the clinic put winter holiday stickers on the door too early and I'm sick of snowmen already. He laughs a little, looks relieved to be good at this kind of conversation. He stands finally and tucks his hands into his jacket. Are you sitting with us? He asks, tentative. I'm sitting where I can leave, I say. I won't be long. He looks like he wants to argue and decides not to. Okay. He shifts like he's about to step back. You, need a ride? I've got it, I say. Phoebe's taking Aidan tonight. Phoebe, he repeats, remembering. She was always solid. She is, I say. He looks at the door like he's trying to see past it. Tell Aidan. He stops himself. I'll write, he says instead. Okay, I say. He steps down one stair, then up again, like he's remembering something. I'm proud of you, he says, softer, like he's practicing saying it out loud. For the way you built your life. I nod. I let it land, but don't pick it up. I'll be the one with the envelope, I say, and open the door. I leave him on the stoop with the streetlights flickering on and the bus brakes sighing down the block. I pack Aidan's overnight bag after dishes, pulling his blue hoodie from the dryer so it's warm when I fold it. He's on the floor with his comic book, rereading the same panels, lips moving. I add socks, toothbrush, the little stuffed fox he pretends he doesn't still sleep with, and the comic, because I don't want to argue about it at the door. You going to Phoebe's palace, I say, zipping the bag. He grins up at me. Do I have to take a bath there? Probably, I say. Bring your good attitude. He groans, then crawls over and flops against my knee. I kiss his hair longer than normal. He doesn't pull away. When he's in bed, I pull an index card from the junk drawer and write my statement in 3 lines. My hand shakes a little, so I rewrite it on a second card. I fold the good one once, then smooth it with my palm until the paper goes warm. I tuck it into the small pocket of my bag where I keep a spare chapstick. Anxiety skitters through me like a field mouse, quick feet nowhere to hide. Then it settles because I've already lived the worst version of this. I plug my phone in and set 2 alarms, one to leave the clinic, one to leave the hall. I move a copy of the audio out of the locked folder and into voice memos, label it Note, and favourite it. The original stays where it is, locked and boringly titled. I flip off Bluetooth autoplay again. Amber texts late. Don't over-explain, say it clean. If they start, you don't have to finish for them. A sticker of a tiny coffee cup flexing. I send a heart. Phoebe follows with, drink water. Shoulders down, slow your first sentence, proud of you. I can hear her voice in the messages, low and steady. I put the envelope with the money order and transcript in my bag, make sure it's sealed, make sure the flap is really pressed. I put the bag by the door and double-check the lock on the knob and the deadbolt, because my brain likes to pick at things when I try to sleep. Saturday morning, Aidan and I eat toast at the counter. He shoves the crust together like a sandwich and takes a big bite. "You coming back tonight?" he asks. "Late," I say. "You can pick the movie at Phoebe's." He thinks. "Not the sad one with the dog." "Deal," I say. We drop his bag at Phoebe's before my shift. She opens the door in socks, takes the bag and says, "Go, I'll feed him pasta." Aidan hugs me quick and disappears toward the Lego bin. I stand on the porch a second and breathe, then head to the clinic. By 8:05 the phones are doing their little dance on the desk like always. Work is a relief. Clean problems, reschedule a crown, call insurance, print a receipt. Maria sits with me the last half hour like we planned, kind eyes watching the clock. "Go," she says at 5:29, flapping her hand. "We got it." I run to the bathroom and change into a black dress that doesn't wrinkle, swipe mascara, tie my hair back. The envelope goes into my bag. The index card goes into my pocket. I drink a full paper cup of water like it's a job and head out. The parking lot at the community hall is already full. A crowded jigsaw of sedans and a couple of city buses someone thought was funny to park across two spots like a prop. I wedge the Civic into a space near the exit. The early dark makes the windows gleam. I sit for a second with my hands on the wheel, then grab my bag and walk in. Inside, it smells like coffee and vinaigrette. Folding tables in rows, plastic tablecloths clipped at the corners. The banner is still a little crooked, "Congratulations, Dale," slanting toward the far wall. Jars of carnations and baby's breath march down the tables. Someone taped a reserved sign to the table up front with Dad's name in ballpoint. I head the other way. Mary stands near the stage with Michaela, both of them watching the door like security guards. Mum's hair is sprayed into place. Michaela's got a glass of punch she's not drinking. They spot me at the same time. Michaela's mouth does that quick upturn like greeting a customer. Mum doesn't smile. I find a chair at a table near the exit with a couple of people I recognise from church potlucks of a lifetime ago. We exchange nods. I set my bag next to my foot, slip the envelope out, and slide it under the edge of my plate so it's right there in front of me. If I don't have to dig for it, I won't stumble. Dad moves through the room shaking hands, a little stiff in a jacket he doesn't wear often. When he reaches me, he's all eyes. "Hey," he says, simple. He squeezes my shoulder once, quick, like we're on a train platform and the doors are closing. He doesn't ask where I'm sitting. He doesn't ask if I'm staying. I nod at him. It's enough. Dinner is chicken that tastes better than it looks. Salad, rolls wrapped in napkins. People clap at the slideshow. There are photos of Dad next to buses through the decades. Moustache years, winter coat years, the summer he shaved his head because of heat. Laughter bubbles up at a picture of him holding a traffic cone like a trumpet. He blushes and looks at his shoes. Then the MC, one of the route supervisors, taps the mic. "We're going to have a few remarks from family and friends," he says. "Keep it short so we can get to cake." Short is good. I stand when he says my name. Heads turn like sunflowers tracking a cloud break. I walk up with the envelope in my hand and the index card in my pocket and my phone heavy against my palm. At the mic, I set the envelope on the stand so it's visible and won't slide. I unlock my phone, find the little heart next to the file, and tap. The screen glows. I put my thumb where play will be. "Hi," I say into the room that knows my whole life and not much of me. I'm Tori. I click the voice memos app open. I'm Tori, I say into the mic. My voice comes back to me from the speakers, a little taller. I'm here to honour my father. I set the sealed envelope on the stand where everyone can see it. Then I hold my phone to the mic and press play. Michaela's whisper spills out big as a bus. I took the rent cash. Don't ruin Thanksgiving. No one's going to believe you anyway. A few people laugh on reflex and then clamp it down. Someone near the dessert says, "Oh," like they just burned their mouth. The playlist is still going, a thin guitar under the words, and Dad lurches toward the sound table and finds the pause button with hands that shake. The room goes quiet enough that the air feels new. I stop the audio. I put the phone face down so I don't drop it. Faces I know from church basements and bus stop benches turn toward me like sunflowers catching light. I slide my index card out of my pocket and don't look at it. I brought 2 things, I say. I tap the envelope. A money order for $600 to set the number still, and a transcript of what you just heard with the timestamp. Not because I need anything from anyone, but because I'm not carrying a lie I didn't tell. Chairs creak. Someone coughs. The MC looks like he wants to be anywhere else. I'm not here for money, I say. I've had my own rent to pay for a long time. I'm here for my name, to say that I didn't take what wasn't mine. I'm saying it once. Clean. I look toward Mum. Her mouth is small, her eyes are shining and hard. She doesn't move. Michaela's chin lifts like she's about to step into a camera frame. I need written apologies from the people who told or believed the lie if they want a place in my life, I say. No speeches, paper, and I need no more stories about me. If you talk about me, you stick to the weather and recipes. A smudge of laughter breaks and disappears. The ache in my chest loosens just enough to let breath through. This is my father's night, I say. I'm proud of 35 years of safe driving. I'm proud of the way he showed up for other people's families when he pulled that bus into the stop in the snow. I wanted to show up with the truth and then sit down. Michaela steps forward, glass in her hand tilted, and opens her mouth. I raise my palm without looking at her. Not tonight. The words land, simple as a door latch. A murmur rises like the room is shifting in its chair. I turn to Dad. He's standing by the sound table with his hands loose at his sides, like he finally found somewhere to put them. I'm leaving the envelope here, I say, and I slide it closer to the mic so there's no confusion about where it lives now. Congratulations, Dad. I step away before anyone can decide to get brave. Dad meets me at the edge of the little stage. Up close, I can see he shaved a little too fast and nicked himself under the jaw. He puts his arms around me, quick and tight, and I hug him back. He smells like starch and coffee. He doesn't say anything. He doesn't have to. Behind him, Mum takes 2 steps, stops, takes 1 back. Her face is a mask I used to know. Michaela is talking low to a cousin whose eyes are wide. People aren't looking at me anymore. They're looking at the envelope like it might tell them how to feel. I hand the mic back to the MC. He clears his throat and starts saying something about cake, the way people do when they're trying to steer a boat through a wake. I step down, weave past the jar of carnations, past the table with the cat-shaped deviled egg platter, past the reserved sign with Dad's name in ballpoint. At my table by the exit, I pick up my bag. A woman I used to babysit for catches my eye and pats the table twice, like a small applause, and then looks down. The man who runs Route 14 tips his chin at me, brief, like you do when you let someone merge. I don't look back toward the stage. I don't look for Mum's eyes or check where Michaela went. I don't owe anyone that. I push the door with my shoulder and the cool air hits my face like a rinse. Outside, the parking lot has gone dark blue. The bus someone parked as a joke sits like a prop in a school play. My breath makes little clouds. The door closes behind me with a soft thud that sounds like a period. I stand for a second with my bag strap biting my shoulder, listening to the leak of applause through the wall. I can feel my heart in my wrists. I walk to the Civic, unlock it and slide in. The seat is cold. I put my hands on the wheel and watch them shake and then stop. On the passenger seat, my phone buzzes once. I don't pick it up. I don't need another voice in my ear right now. I set my bag on the floor, start the car, and back out slow between two minivans into a row of taillights blinking red like metronomes in the dark. I pull onto the street and let the turn signal click steady, for once matching my breath. The morning after the dinner, there's an envelope in my mailbox with my name in Dad's careful block letters. Inside is a single page of lined paper, blue ink, no crossouts. He writes that he heard me, that he stood in the kitchen the night I left and chose nothing, and that silence was choosing. He says he is sorry, without adding any furniture around it. Folded inside the page is my money order, uncreased, and a sticky note that reads, "This goes to Aiden's savings. I'm sorry." I sit at the counter and read it twice with my coffee cooling. I slide the money order into the drawer where I keep bank slips and school forms. The letter goes into a manila folder with the printed transcript and the old ultrasound photo. Not trophies, weights so the truth doesn't blow away. My phone lights up with 2 missed calls from Mum and a text that says, "Family is messy. We don't air it out like that. Call me." I stare at it until the screen goes dark and then mute the thread. When she puts ink on paper, she can have a voice in this. Phoebe hands me a mug at her kitchen counter when I go to pick up Aiden. "You breathe different," she says. "I slept," I say. It's true in a new way. Aiden is at the table, building a spaceship out of Legos, socks mismatched. He looks up, measuring my face. "You good?" he asks. "I'm good," I say. "You ready to go home?" He slides pieces into a bag and nods. On the walk to the car, he tells me about the movie and the part where the cat knocks over the plant. He doesn't ask about the hall. He watches and waits, like always. At lunch, a message pings my email from a woman who used to run the crafts table at Mum's church. Subject line, "Just wanted to say." She writes that she's proud of me, that she was there, that people are rethinking some things. "We won't be putting certain folks in charge of fundraiser money anymore," she adds, and I don't have to read it twice to hear the rest. I reply with a thank you, that's enough. Later, someone tags me in a screenshot of Michaela's post, a paragraph about betrayal and how family should keep matters private, punctuation like confetti, no names. The comments are fewer than she's used to, a couple of grey hearts, a lot of nothing. Silence sits there like a verdict. At the clinic on Monday, Amber waits until the first rush is over. "You okay?" "I did what I said I'd do," I say. She nods. "Good," she says, and slides me a cinnamon roll someone brought for the break room, wrapped in wax paper like a prize. 2 weeks pass quiet. The city does its winter shuffle. I answer phones, make meatballs, sign a field trip permission slip. Dad mails me a second note, short, asking if we can meet at the park near my place on Saturday morning. "If you agree," he writes, "I'd like to meet Aiden on your terms." I text back a time and the word yes. Saturday is grey bright. The park swings creak in the cold. Aiden runs for the monkey bars, careful hands, testing the first rung before committing to the second. Dad is already there on a bench, a paper bag at his feet, like he can't arrive anywhere without one. "Morning," he says, standing. He has a little metal token in his palm, a bus charm someone turned into a keychain. He looks at me, then at Aiden. "Hello," he says to him. "I'm Dale." Aiden nods, the way he does with new adults. "Hi. Is it okay if I watch you do the monkey bars?" Dad asks. Aiden shrugs. "That's the point," he says, and turns back to his climb. We stand near the edge of the mulch. Dad's voice stays low. "Thank you for letting me be here." "Thank you for writing," I say. He swallows and nods. He doesn't try to call himself anything to Aiden. He doesn't reach. He stays where I've put the line. When Aiden drops to the ground with a thud and shakes out his hands, Dad holds out the keychain. I brought you something, he says. It's from the bus. You don't have to keep it. Aidan takes it, weighs it in his palm. Do buses have names? He asks. Just numbers, Dad says, but we talk about them like they do. Aidan clips the token to his backpack zipper and looks up at me. I nod. He does a cautious lap around the path, reading the posted rules out loud because that's who he is. Dad and I sit on the bench. He keeps his hands open on his knees. I'm going to mess this up, he says quietly, but I'm going to keep showing up the way you ask. Short and steady, I say. Public places for now. No surprises. Okay, he says. He looks at Aidan like the sun is something he forgot he could stand in. When we head home, Aidan skips the first 3 sidewalk cracks like a game. He holds up the keychain. Do we get to see them again? He asks. Only the ones who are good to us, I say. He thinks about it and tucks the token into his hoodie pocket. We climb the stairs and the air in our place feels the right size. I put the folder back on the shelf where I can reach it when I need to remember. Then I start water for pasta, answer a text from Phoebe with a photo of the monkey bars, and look out the window at the street, the ordinary morning moving forward like it always does.